You feel the digital walls closing in around you. Every new software update feels exactly like a ticking clock. The raw data flows way faster than your mind can follow. You're completely drowning in a relentless sea of cold, calculating logic. In this explainer, we're looking at research that explores why sitting at a glowing monitor makes you deeply wonder if your years of hard-won, incredibly human experience still actually matter. In this rapidly changing world, you constantly push yourself to work much faster. You sacrifice your evenings just to keep pace. But the relentless tide of information never stops rising.
The weight of the future sits heavy on you. You watch the relentless headlines and feel growing dread. Your coworkers talk about automation as entirely inevitable. You sit at your desk and feel painfully slow. Just yesterday, you watched a simple program instantly summarize a complex, highly detailed quarterly report that took you a full, grueling week to manually compile. It really feels like running a foot race against a fighter jet. You push your physical limits until you've got absolutely nothing left. The finish line just keeps moving further and further away.
The machine never sleeps, and it never gets tired. It cheerfully processes a million dense, complex legal documents. It finishes exactly when you finish a single cup of coffee. You look at your endless task list and feel pure exhaustion. In the quiet, highly vulnerable moments of the day, looking at the blinking cursor on your screen, you deeply wonder if you've become completely obsolete in your own chosen profession. Your carefully honed skills suddenly feel like frail, dying relics. You wonder if your entire career was just a warm-up. The heavy silence of that terrifying realization is truly deafening.
Look, the world aggressively tells you data is the ultimate currency. They'll say the one with the most information wins. Modern companies wrongly prioritize raw volume over actual, meaningful insight. You desperately try to keep up by working more hours. This constant state of comparison is a soul-crushing trap, completely blinding you to the true, immense value of your incredibly complex, biologically evolved mind. Your brain feels completely fried by the late afternoon. Your spirit feels entirely drained by the early evening. You mistakenly believe you're losing the battle to the machine, but that's the great lie of the modern digital age.
Here's the truth: you're not a blank slate at all. Your mind is a staggering masterpiece of biological evolution. You don't need billions of repetitive static examples. Every single new experience securely lands inside a massive, powerful network. Consider that your brilliant brain possesses roughly 86 billion active neurons, constantly making more incredibly complex, dynamic connections than there are physical stars in the entire observable universe. You're a walking, biological miracle, cleverly disguised as normal. You're a highly skilled, standard working professional. The human brain actually outlearns the machine in absolutely every way. The source material breaks this human advantage into 4 core principles. 1. First up is prior efficient learning. This means your mind securely rests upon an evolved prior stack. 1. You never actually start learning a new task from scratch. If you casually drop a heavy glass on the floor, you intuitively understand the concept of gravity without ever needing complex mathematical formula to explain it. An artificial intelligence needs thousands of advanced physics simulations just to struggle to grasp why that fragile glass shattered. 2. Your deep personal history allows you to master new concepts instantly. The second principle is called action-efficient learning. You uniquely gain deep, lasting knowledge through embodied action in physical reality. 1. You literally turn physical movement into immediate and permanent knowledge. 2. A young, curious child quickly learns physical balance simply by falling off a moving bicycle, effortlessly turning a painfully scraped knee into instant, lifelong physical mastery. Meanwhile, a static machine is stuck hopelessly behind cold glass, where it can only blindly read text descriptions about bicycles. 2. You powerfully interact with your physical environment to build profound understanding. Next, we've got abstraction-efficient learning. You naturally build causal world models to deeply understand exactly why things happen. 1. You use compositional abstraction to simplify incredibly difficult problems. 1. This means humans inherently understand hidden context and secret motives, effortlessly seeing the invisible, quiet threads that gracefully connect completely different parts of our wonderfully messy shared reality. Machines deeply struggle to reproduce this profound conceptual understanding. 2. They can easily tell you what happened in a spreadsheet, but they absolutely cannot tell you what it actually felt like.
The fourth principle is energy-efficient learning. You actively operate on a highly efficient biological hardware daily, requiring remarkably little power to function. 1. You're the most energy-efficient learning machine in existence. Your incredibly complex, wildly powerful brain operates on roughly 20 watts of power, which is barely enough raw electricity to illuminate a single terribly dim light bulb. Meanwhile, artificial intelligence data centers require massive, roaring cooling towers and gigawatts of power just to hallucinate a simple answer. 1. You solve massive global problems on a simple, modest meal. 2. Let's put this into perspective with a real-world example from the sources. A self-driving machine must blindly guzzle endless simulation data. It requires billions of logged miles for basic navigation. 1. You absolutely do not need billions of static points. A human confidently learns to drive in just 20 hours. 1. The sheer, comical absurdity of the machine's brute force requirement perfectly highlights the staggering, undeniable reality of your immense, wildly superior biological cognitive power. Your 20 hours are just a very thin layer resting atop a lifetime of rich, self-supervised learning. 1. The machine needs heavy infrastructure just to barely mimic you. 2.
You falsely compare your beautiful biological engine to a digital cloud. Sure, the cloud has exponentially more raw data processing power available, but you possess vastly more rich, completely undeniable human soul. 2. The cold machine is simply a rigid reflection of data. Because our highly efficient brains are completely freed from the brutal exhaustion of raw, brute force data processing, we actually have the glorious, abundant bandwidth for deep memory, rich culture, and profound empathy. 2. You're a bold projection of a beautiful, dynamic future. These specific human traits are highly effective leadership features. You're the architect of tomorrow, not the helpless victim.
You've got to immediately stop trying to be a computer. You'll never win a raw speed race against silicon chips. The deep anxiety you feel is actually a bright sign. It highlights your massive untapped potential in the modern workplace. Use that sharp awareness today to immediately double down on your uniquely human strengths by deeply trusting your incredibly sharp professional intuition and thoroughly studying the profound why behind your daily workflow. Ask complex questions that no simple software could ever answer. Take aggressive physical action in the messy real world. Boldly sharpen your creative mind entirely beyond the digital screen.
Your human worth is absolutely not measured by data processing speed. It's measured by the deep, resonant meaning you bring to the table. You are a highly efficient and abstract creative thinker. You possess the exact definitive advantage the modern world desperately needs right now. So go forth today and boldly use your incredible biological gifts to outlearn the machine. Your brain is not a vessel to be filled with data, but a roaring fire of massive biological efficiency desperately waiting to be ignited.